Hey y'all, and welcome to the Education Link Up, where theory meets practice, aka where I put all of my non-written homework assignments. So I hope you enjoy. Today's assignment is about the global context of education. We had the opportunity to choose one country to explore their education system. I chose the country of Jamaica because my family is Jamaican and I love learning more about my history. So today I'm going to interview a few people from different parts of Jamaica, and I'm going to ask them about their experiences within the Jamaican education system and hope that y'all enjoy the opportunity to learn more about them and their cultures and their histories. Hi. I'm going to interview you about your schooling experiences in Jamaica, and if you want to, you can make comparisons to your experiences once you come here.
Okay.
So first I want you to talk about, let us know your name, your age, and like the schools that you went to in Jamaica.
Okay, my name is Lasagna Green. I'm 24 years old. I went to most of my schooling in Jamaica. I did primary, high, and then I came here and then I finished high school here.
Okay. So I'm going to start by going way back into time and just like getting your mind back into school in Jamaica. What was your favorite thing about going to school in Jamaica?
Oh, wow. And my favorite part of going to school was the sports event they used to have. We didn't have like how you guys have homecoming and prom. We didn't have that. We had like fete, barbecue, sports day, and all that.
Okay. And what's the fete?
It's like a big party.
I knew what that was. I just wanted people to know. What is the most challenging part about going to school in Jamaica?
Getting there.
Getting to school?
Getting there.
How did you get to school?
Because you know how here we have the school buses, we could just go to the bus stop, it picks us up. There we would have to, like, if school start, I didn't go to a traditional high school. I go to what we call shift school or ghetto school. So school start from 7 to 12. They had like 7 to 12 and then 12 to 5. So I went, a couple of years I went 7 to 12 and then we rotated. So 7 to 12, I would have to get up like 5 o'clock so I can get to the bus stop by 6 to get to school on time.
Right.
So if you're not at a bus stop, we had to take like the regular bus, like the DART. Okay. So we had to take like the JUTC, the Jamaican Transportation Bus. So when we get to that bus stop, if you miss the bus before 6:30, you better just take a taxi. And the taxi fare is way more than the bus fare.
Okay, I imagine.
Yeah. So that's it. Sometimes we had to walk.
How long was that walk, and how far was your school?
The walk was like probably 5 to 10 miles.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, around there.
Oh, wow.
It wasn't long, but it doesn't feel like long because you had everybody that missed the bus walking. So it was like, I would say closer to 5 miles. I wouldn't say 10. That's probably too much. Yeah, so 5.
All right, so one thing that I've been hearing in a lot of these interviews that I've been doing with other people who went to school in Jamaica is about testing. Mm-hmm. So can you tell me a little bit about your experiences with testing?
My experience was horrible.
Horrible? Tell me more.
I'm not a good tester.
Okay.
And I didn't learn that till I got here. The tests were harder to me than when I got here. So we used to have tests like 4 to 6 weeks between that time, and we used to have it on every subject. So and then with my school, because it wasn't a traditional school, sometimes the teacher would come to your class, and sometimes you had to go find a teacher for your class. So sometimes instead of having the class in the regular classroom, you would have it in a different classroom on the other side of the campus. So we had to walk to class, and you have like 5 minutes to get from one class to the next. So testing was like really hard for me because I'm not a good tester.
So one thing that I heard in interviews with people earlier was like, if you take a test and you don't do well on it, then it changes the trajectory of what schools you can even go to.
It does. So when I was in, before I get to high school, I was in primary school, and that's where we go to school from grade 1 to 6. So in 4th grade, we do what we call, I don't remember what it's called, literacy exams. So that check your reading, comprehension skills and stuff. I did good on that one, but when I got to the 6th grade, when I was supposed to do my testing, I told my mom I wasn't ready, so I had to repeat it the 6th grade. So, you know, you would take summer classes to prepare you for this, because it's like the biggest exam of your life. Okay, yeah. At the time, that's how it feels. So we had to do extra classes, stay after school, whatever we could. But I ended up repeating because I didn't feel comfortable in the test, and she wouldn't let me do it if I wasn't comfortable doing it. Because this is a test that determines which school you get to.
Okay.
And whatever school you get to reflect on what college takes you.
Oh, okay. So it's like this is the deciding factor.
Yeah.
It's a lot of pressure. Did you feel like it was pressure?
It was. It was a lot.
And is it competitive? Like, what was the competition like?
To go to the high school? It was. Okay. So it's like certain school will take certain amount of kids. And if they tell you to go pick 5 schools you wanted to go to, but chances are you will not get into 5 schools you pick. Okay. They will send you wherever they think fits the grade you have.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
Wow. So one thing that we talked about, because in my class we do a lot of talking about like schools in different environments. Mm-hmm. So we talk about urban school versus rural school experiences for people of different class. Can you talk a little bit about what that's like in Jamaica?
Well, I'm not quite sure, but I know I was living in Kingston, so the school, I don't know.
So with the 5, okay, I was gonna say with the 5 schools you get to choose. Like, so here you go to school based on where you live.
Yeah.
I live here, I'm going to William Penn. Or I live here, I'm going there. You said you get to choose 5 schools.
Yeah.
Anywhere in Jamaica or how?
People mostly pick 5 prominent schools, like school that get recognition for their academics. Because if you go to, let's say, for example, they had an all-girls school called Alpha. If you went to Alpha, you'd be on the top list for college to accept you based on your CXC subject that you would get in high school. So it depends. Like, people go places that are close to their homes, so they take less money for transportation to get to and from school. So yeah.
Okay. Let me look at my list of barriers to education.
Oversized classroom. You had one teacher to like 40 kids or 35 kids, one teacher to 35 kids. And the class length at the time, it was like 45 minutes or 30 minutes. And as I say, transportation to get there. And it was a couple things affecting, like, to get there. And the classroom, and you didn't get as lot of one-on-one time with the teachers as you can get here. Like, you could say, I'm not having a problem. The teacher would say, okay, stay after school. But there, like, have a problem, you'll have to figure it out. You have to pay for after-school program. That's the only way they'll stay, because you have to pay for program. Yeah. So your parents would have to pay for the extra program.
Okay. And then the teachers led those extra things.
Yes. So those are all of the teacher time. So the teacher would like say extra lessons are like $500 a week. Okay.
Yeah. So you started talking about the transition and the difference between school and there and here. When you came to Delaware, what was the biggest, like, was there a culture shock when it comes to like education or anything like that made you realize like this is really different?
Not wearing uniform. Not wearing uniform, because when we're in Jamaica. When I was in primary school, we were uniform. Basic school, that's like kindergarten here or something, they were uniform. So from your 2 years old going to school or 3 years old going to school, you're wearing uniform. Yeah. But when I was in Jamaica in high school, I went to a Catholic high school. So we had to wear these long khaki dresses and blouse underneath and all that stuff. Whereas when I came here, we don't wear uniform. Yeah. And I had a hard time with that, because then when you come here, you have to dress a certain way, you gotta look a certain way, because you don't fit in. So I eventually went to a school that wore uniform here.
Gotcha. That's so interesting to think about, because I feel like there's been a lot of debate over like freedom of expression and like and then other people are like, well, uniforms lessens distractions, and it's interesting to hear your experience with that. What was I gonna say? I guess I'll ask you the last question. For people who've never experienced school in Jamaica, what would you want them to know?
Aside from the educational part of it, it's fun.
It's fun.
Because, as I say, we had parties and stuff. We had sport day where the first day you go into high school, or any school at all, they put you in a house. So that would be your house color. And we compete against each other. Like, we race, track and field. We have FET, where we have our barbecue, where artists come to the school and perform, and the money that they make go to like a section of the school, like for example, drama, or the clothing and textile department would have like a thing so they could get stuff for the school, for the kids to have at school, stuff like that. So they're really like mini fundraisers.
Oh, that sounds really cool.
Yeah. They were fun.
And then you talked about going to a Catholic school.
Mm-hmm.
Almost everybody that I've interviewed talks about religion, devotions, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Are there like a lot of Catholic schools, or do you have devotion, religion, even if you don't go to a Catholic school? Or
they have a lot of Catholic school, yes, but even if you don't go to a Catholic school, you still have religion playing a factor because they have devotions every morning, no matter what school you go to. You could be Muslim, you still have to go to devotion. It's not optional. So it's not optional. So you go to devotion. Devotion is like 30 minutes long in the morning. So the first thing you go to school is, and if you're not at devotion, you're late. So devotion is part of the school day. So anything after 7 o'clock, you're late because devotion is only 7 to 7:30. And then everything we say prior, before in devotion, we say it's for when we're going to take a lunch break. We say when we're leaving. And yeah,
I have other questions that just came to my mind. So I was interviewing somebody who said that when a teacher came in a room, like you have to stand up.
mm-hmm.
That's true?
No, not all schools. Some schools do it. Some schools are different. As I said, I didn't go to a traditional high school, but my school, we had to go to the cathedral over by the Catholic Church. We had to go like once a week and they like have big church service. And that's not during devotion time. That would be like class time. They would take away a class time for us to go to church.
And so something that made me, you said you went to a non-traditional high school, and something that I didn't know that I learned in an interview earlier was there's a difference between primary school and prep school. What can you speak to any of those differences? Or?
I think the difference is one is more like richer people can afford to go to a prep school because you pay more money to get into a prep school. And primary school is like it's cheaper to go into.
So you have to pay for primary school though?
Yes. It's not really. Now they're saying education is free. So now they take away the school fees and put it as school development. So that's like to keep the school up and running.
So individual people have to pay it. So like for here, for example, the state taxes or no,
people have to pay it.
Oh, okay.
Per child.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. Because I obviously have to do research, and I'm just not interviewing. So in my research, I was seeing that compulsory school, like 1st through 6th grade, is compulsory, and I took that to mean that 1st through 6th grade is like free. But that's not.
No, it's not.
Okay.
No. Even high school, like even in high school, you have to take a test to go to college. Like these tests determine if you can get a job. Like you have to do CXC, or now they have CLSC. So now it's like if you don't have none of those subjects, like if you want to be an accountant and you don't have not even one of those subjects leading to you becoming an accountant, you can't get a job. Wow. Even to work in the grocery store, now they're asking for math and English. So yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for taking the time to interview with me today, and I'm sure we're all going to learn a lot from your experience.